Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PC review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Chaos engine, which if you've never played it before, it's basically a top-down run and gun type thing. It's very similar to if Smash TV meets Gauntlet. That's probably the way I'd describe it, because it's not just a Smash TV where you go kill everything, but it's not just Gauntlet either, where it's exploring and waves of mazes and things. It's not like that at all. I personally think this is fantastic. I've loved the game ever since the Amiga version, which is what this version's based on. The only thing it pretty much does is it enables you to have enhanced graphics, which so far don't seem to work for anyone, because it causes the game to run with severe slowdown. And it enables you to play it with an Xbox 360 controller, which, well, it's not dual analog or anything, but it still does work, and it's nice to have it. At the start, you've literally got how to play it, which they've added all sorts of stuff for it, and it really is not so much hand-holding. It's like, because back when this was made, it was a different era of gamers and people expected it to be brutal, whereas now people expect games to be easier, and I think that's why they've went into volumes and volumes of how to play on that, trying to teach you exactly what to do, because the game really is absolutely insanely difficult. It's one of those things. At the start, you can choose one player on a computer, so you're always playing with two of the characters, or you can play it local or you can play it online. I'm going to be playing it local. There's 6 characters to choose from, and each of the characters is like unique. Not everyone's got the same weapon or anything. They've all got different abilities. There's a couple of the heavy characters that are more powerful and have more health, but they're much slower and they cost a lot more, because you start with 3,000 and the characters range from 2,500, 2,750 all the way up to 3,000. Which I'll be choosing one of them now, just for the hell of it. Mainly because I'd much rather have more health. And money isn't just superficial, it's not for score or anything. It does come into play quite a bit, because you can upgrade things. You can, at the end of every second level, so it's obviously every 2 levels, you get the ability to spend your cash on extra lives, or being able to upgrade your wisdom and that. And it's just, it is a good, decent upgrade system. It is very much well, I suppose basic RPG system. It's the sort of thing that, honestly, if I was recommending to anyone now, I'd say it's very similar to what you get in the likes of your Deus Ex games and in Borderlands and that, where you just get the screen and you can spend some cash to upgrade and make yourself better. And it's one of those, you are going to want to be collecting cash and upgrading yourself, because otherwise you're just not going to survive very long. It's just one of those things. To reiterate, this game is absolutely brutal. The old passwords, I don't think we'll be able to get them to work, which is a bit of a shame, because considering it was based on the Amiga version, I expected to be able to at least use any old codes and that. And instead, it's when you enter them on 1 player, it says they're invalid. When you enter them on 2 player, it says you are not on the right number of players for this password. So it's just like, it's weird. It's like the code is trapped in limbo. Because, at least for a lot of people, if you were able to enter some of the cheat codes, as well as just your old passcodes from being able to go on to any of the 4 worlds that you want, instead you could start yourself on World 1 with 50,000 cash, then at least that would probably be a hell of a lot better, I suppose, for all types of gamers, rather than just those who enjoy the old school punishment of old school games, which I do. Graphically, I think the game just looks as awesome as it always did. I've always liked how the game looked. It's just one of those things. I know there's a couple of people say different versions look better than the other, but I personally think that no matter which version you play in it, it's still going to look decent. And this version of it, I do actually think looks really good. The enhanced graphics though, the things that I've already said are broken because they cause like severe slowdown, I actually think it makes the game look really odd. It's almost as if everything's coated in resin or some sort of like lacquer or plastic or something. It really doesn't work well with the game at all. Musically, they've thankfully not messed with it, because it just sounds as amazing as it always did, and I've always loved the music in the game, so I will end with a little bit of that. But there's not really much else I can mention. I've just got a few of the basics. There's 4 worlds to go through, and it does culminate in the battle of you fighting the Chaos engine. The story is nice and dark and twisted and that, as it is pretty much the whole setting of the game, and that's why I think the music works so well with it, because this isn't a happy, cheery Mario or anything, you know. This really is, it was a more adult game, I suppose, for the time. It kicked your ass, and it also provided you with a lot more adult themes than you were probably used to at the time. I've honestly, truly have had pretty much like a man crush on the entire game ever since I was a little boy playing it on the Amiga, and then I moved on to the SNES version, and now it's just so great to be able to play this with a 360 controller, because at least that way I don't have to suffer with mouse and keys, because that's the only thing I've never ever liked about the game. I used to, on the Amiga, have to play it with like a zip stick, which I'll be amazed if many people even remember what a zip stick is. As well as being able to walk around and collect cash, you might have seen there's keys and that, and basically silver keys will open up your main area and open up the main like quest type thing. It'll open the right path to get to the end, whereas gold keys open up a kind of a side area where you can get like power-ups or food, which is health, or you might find more nodes, because as you might be able to notice at the very bottom centre of the screen, you've got a number, which is how much cash you've got, and then to the left of that you've got another number, like 03 currently, and that's how many nodes you've got to destroy, because you've got to destroy them in order to open the exit of the world. But some levels have more than the amount of nodes, and it gives you like a head start on the next level, so it's quite cool that it can do that. It means if you are playing through the game a couple of times and you notice there's some levels you struggle on and there's some levels that you don't, then it means you might want to look around on that level to see if you can find extra nodes to help you out. So that's at least quite cool. There are special power-up type things, as I say, to collect, and they basically like do different things. So you might have already seen us walk into a Molotov cocktail that fired a load of flame, and that is one of the character's abilities. If you're playing as him and you collect one, then it allows you to store it as a grenade and you can fire it out when you want. And it's just one of those things that you're going to want to save them for parts where it really is being even more brutal than usual. But as I say, that it's all basics that I had left to say. It's the sort of thing that I realised I was too busy mentioning how much I loved the game and treating it as if everyone playing this was going to have played the original, which might not be the case. There are checkpoints through the levels, but as you can see, there's not exactly a continuous system or anything. It really is a case of, that's it, you've lost your lives, you're done, begin again. And it's pretty much what all old games used to be like, you know. It was always a trial and error. While there's only 4 worlds, it may not seem big. It's a sort of thing though that playing it isn't, you're not going to beat it in an hour's play. You're going to have to practice and get better and learn things and work out which characters to play as. It's old school Nirvana, it really is, and I'm so glad that a load of games like this and Super Frog and that are getting redone for this day and age, because they're just fantastic. So time to shut up finally and let you listen to a little bit of the awesome music, because I really can't think of anything else to warble on about.
Activated.
So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel, because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.